Yeah, actually, maybe people are creating some movie, isn't it? Okay, let's see now. So this afternoon, actually, let's start this afternoon. So I have people asking something. Yeah, and now that's a little bit, all right. Now, so this afternoon, actually, I think I have posted a schedule on Blackboard. So I don't want you to delay the process. Oh, okay, that's why actually I'm pulling out the schedule. So I would like let's have a look at the schedule. Okay, let's see. So I'm wondering whether I have posted it here, and I will. Okay, and I will post um, the schedule for you all so that you would know. But let me go over that a bit. Let's see where it's at. Just give me a second. Where do I put it? So this is what it looks like. Somebody said put something. Okay, so let me share the schedule with you. Okay, so this is the schedule, right? Um, and the thing is, so you can see it here is a tentative one, so it may be changed, but actually I think this is the what we are following, right? So the deadlines as for this is so today is the week columns. The other one is the by the date column, and the content. So my target content and the deadlines as well as so all of the deadlines for the homework, right? So you can keep track of the deadline of your homework, and because the focus of and the final paper you're going to write an introduction, but this is not only just a short introduction, but what you're supposed to write in that we will talk about that. We will discuss during the semester of the course, and the abstract's writing is actually the target of the midterm. So that's why I put it here. I cannot correct. Okay, and so we have some midterm exams, and after that, so for the second half of the semester, actually we focus on other parts in the class, but the deadline, I would like you to start working on your final paper. This is very important because it weighs so much, right? It is 40% of the total scores. And so that's why actually in week 5, that is like in mid-March, right? You are expected to decide your topic or your title already, right? So you have some time for February, right? And you need to let me know, and I think I need to go over the topic, a tentative one. It may be changed, it can be narrowed down, or it can be, you can extend the topic, but you need to have something in mind already, right? And after that, you need for the second half of the semester. I expect you to work on, your paper, right? That is the introduction. And so the range of homework actually is for you to draft your introduction. And actually in May, you are expected to have the first draft of your paper already, right? And you have some time to review. We will conduct some self-review and peer review so that you would know you can make changes uh, of your final paper. And the last class, I would like to draw your attention here. The last class, you're expected to submit it, your final paper. It doesn't mean that because you don't have, the final exam, right? You don't have the final exam, so you need to finish it in the last class. So that will be in reserve week. Okay, so that's why I don't want to delay any further of the writing process. Okay, all right. So that is the tentative schedule. So I will post this on our platform so that it is will be easier for you to keep track. Okay, right. Yeah. So any questions? Yeah. If you have any questions, just feel free to speak up. Okay. Now, so in the meantime, yeah, so it may be some time for you if you have any other questions. Okay, so I will stop sharing this. Yeah, if you have any question, please unmute and speak up, right? So I think I'm pulling out the content, the slides of today. Okay, good. No more questions? No question at all? Just let me know if you actually whether you can hear me, or because I sometimes I need to pause for a while and check if everything works fine. Okay, can you hear me well? Hello?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, good. Right. Um, thank you. Now, let's start. So I will have a short introduction of the structure thesis. Okay, and then we'll go one by one. All right. So I'm sharing, yeah, let's just go over the structure of a thesis, right? Yeah, I know that it would may, delay a bit as we go online. That would be more efficient if we can meet face to face. All right, let me go over quickly the structure of thesis, right? So this is the structure. You can find it Yeah, I think it's over here. You can find it on page 16, right? You can find it on page 16, and we go back whenever we switch to another section of the thesis. So as you can see over here, most of the time the abstract at the beginning, what is that and how to write that, we will have the whole chapter relating to the abstract, right? And so the starting point or the first chapter of the thesis is an introduction, right? Introduction, and the second, that is, so start out, what is that? And but basically, it start out by with the general information, right? It's most of the time, it starts with broad topic and then it's narrowed down. So that's why it's the introduction has that kind of shape. Okay, and then it says the introduction tends to narrow down to the focus of your study. So based on the topic, it's really broad topic, and then it's narrowed down to the focus of your study. Okay, so some other paper they use the term literature review, right? So there are a range of variation in a way that people can have introduction literature review separately, or they may have introduction and literature review in the same part. So please don't feel, is please don't be surprised in a way that you can find, oh, what is a literature review? Basically, introduction literature review tend to be, combined, and this is the one of the, the structure of the research paper, okay, or thesis. Okay, so most of the time it starts with, again, we start with broad topic and then it's narrowed down to your focus. And so this is the most important part, and this is the very first step of, of your thesis, right, of your proposal. Okay, so that's why this is the focus and the goal of this course as well. As for the next part is methodology. When you report what you did, right? What you did in your study. So in actually, I think this is not the focus of this class, because in a way that you need to study some methodology or some research methods in your field. Okay, but the thing is, we will go over the theories, but I don't expect you to have to master both, like writing and methods. So the thing I just give the introduction in here, so that you can have a big picture of the shape, right, of the structure of your thesis. Okay, and the third part is the results. So a methodology and results are the main parts of the study. Okay, so in the methodology sections, you need to describe what you did in your study, and in the results, actually you report what you found. Okay, so what you observed, and that in the result section, and the last part actually is this a discussion or conclusion section. Okay, conclusion section, so that you discuss actually what do the findings mean in your study. Okay, so this is the structure, the overall, the overview of the main structure of the research. Okay, so for this course, we focus on introduction. Yeah, actually, the thing is how to set up, how to start, with your thesis or with your research paper. It is also very important. And for methodology and results, actually, you would focus more in your thesis, graduation thesis, credits, right? Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Good. Yeah. If you want to, you may want to ask in English or in Vietnamese, or whatever that you need to check, or what you need to ask. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, it seems everything is fine, right? All right, now let me move on to another part. So I will start sharing this. Any, if you have any other questions, just pick up, or you can put in the chat windows during my lecture so that you can, I can see what is your concern. I can explain later. Okay. All right, so I will start sharing this, and then I will turn on slides. So today I plan, I plan to go over the structure of research paper, the ABA styles, and the collecting, and to show you how to collect resources. All right. Now let's move on to, yeah, just as I go along, just let me know if you have any other questions. Just feel free to ask. Okay. You can key in the answer, the questions in the chat box, and I think I will have a look at that later. So I think if it's necessary, any other questions, so you don't want to interrupt. Okay, now let's move on to another part. So we have, we have we understand, we have an overview of the structure of a paper, right, or of a thesis. Now the next things that that we need to, is I won't mention this later. Yeah, later I think we would just focus on the content, right? But the format, right? The format of the, how to keep track of all the materials that you actually that you read. Okay, so after today, actually you can start with your homework number one, right? The homework number one actually focus or requires you to look for material, to read the material for your paper. Okay, now let me go over. So it is called, another term is called references. Have you ever heard references? Right? So references, or some paper they use the terms bibliography. Bibliography. So references over here is the recorded publication details, right? Anyone would let me know, like, what are the details of publications? Anyone? You can key in the chat window. So I give you 30 seconds. Okay. So please key in the chat windows. What I just would like to know what you know about references and what kind of details of publication that we need to keep in references. Okay. Now 30 seconds. Please key in, what kind of details you think of, right? You know of, in the chat box. Okay, 30 seconds. Okay, so let's see. We have some answers here. Now, I would like to hear some voices. Đức Hưng, right? Đức Hưng. So can you please
Yes.
explain? Yes. Yeah, go ahead. So you what did you say is the what?
I think references should include the name of the article or the book that you're referencing to, and the name of the author, and the year when it was published. That's it.
Okay, right. So the name of the book, as you mentioned, so the name of the author, and the year they published the paper, right? Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Nice. Now let's see. Thank you very much. Yes, that's true. So someone also mentioned the name, published. So publication, the year or the date. Hmm. Or in what situation, or whether it's the date. The date means that you need to include the month and the date, right? Uh, so like whether which one or both, or year only, or the date as well. Would you like to say something?
Uh, I think the references that I read was only the year only. That's what I know. I'm not so sure. So.
Okay, right. And how about thank you. How about one?
Yeah, I'm not so sure, but I think it's the days. I just think.
Okay. Yeah, actually, the thing is, yes, that's true. Most of the time, you can see that a lot of publication mention the year, right? The year, but it doesn't mean that it is not also the date as well. Yes, right. But with only with the article or newspaper, sometimes it is just valid on that date, and later they may or sometimes with the news that is published on certain day, right? So that's why it depends on what kind of publications that you actually that you cite, that you quote or take the quotes from. Does that make sense? So yes, such as book, yes, just year, year publications, but some newspapers or whatever, that should be, because the thing is they may actually the article or newspaper article actually they may disappear for certain time. It is not there forever, right? And so that's why it should be exactly unto the date. But that's true. But if you just if you cite from books or some kinds of publication, then only year, right? Let's say I also mentioned that printed on the back of the book of title page. Can you explain further, honey? Hello, isn't it? Okay. Yes. Can you explain like what kind of edit? So can you explain further? What do you mean by that? Can you speak up? Hello? Yeah, probably there will be something wrong at his end. Or he's just okay, so we'll get back. Just let me know if you're ready later, right? And about citations.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Can you repeat the question?
Okay, so you mentioned citations. We don't understand what citations.
Citations. I don't know. What is that?
Okay. So citation. Anyone familiar with the term? So because we're talking about references. Okay. So what kind of information that we keep? All right. Citation. You're not sure? Okay. Web link.
Yes, I know that.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Scrien, can you please explain web link?
I think when we use the preferences online, we should mention the homepage link of the article. So that's my opinion.
You need to include the web link, isn't it? Is that what you mean? Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Now let's see. Yeah. So let's see. That's true. Let's see. So how about academic paper or research paper? Now let's see. Yes. So the references, most of the time you can find references at the back, at the end, right? And after the conclusion references list. And it's also required in our paper, right? So this is the questions. Now, let me focus on three types. There are other types, right? But three types that most common, right? They're common and the most common in research articles, books, chapter in edited book, right? And journal article or scholarly, journal articles, scholarly, not newspapers, not magazine, or website, okay? So these are three types that most common in academic paper, okay? Now, let me show you this. This is the reference. This is called the reference, right? The reference, one of the reference of one book. So I will go one by one. Yeah, I will explain. So what is supposed to mean? So you can see up here, actually in terms of the information, is a kind of syntax, right? The structure of syntax, and you can see different fonts, right? Italics or not. Okay, now let's go one by one. So I put in color coding so that it will be easier for you. So the word pot here in red actually is the author last name, right? You need to put the author last name. So the blue over here are author initials. You know, initials, viết tắt, right? So their name, but actually it's just the initials, but not full name. You don't write in full, right? But just initials. And how about the pink number? Anyone knows? Anyone?
The years of publication.
Yes, that's right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, so it is the year publications, not the year of printed, right? A publication, because you know the thing is some books actually can be reprinted. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's right. So that's why I ask you. So again, the year of publication, the year that the book is published, not the year it is reprinted, right? Because the thing is, sometimes the book is published, for example, 2002, and it is reprinted in 2010. And so, but we need to put the year of publication, right? And again, the orange one, and that is the book title, okay? The book title. Now, I also put some notes here. Only capitalize the first letters. So in this kind of reference, you can see that there are two capital letters because this is the double title. Double title means that you have one title and the other title actually is separated with a semicolon, right? So only capitalize the first letters. Do not capitalize every single word, okay? And in italics for both, okay? And the letter or the word in blue, in green up here, actually is the city, right? The city of publication, right? City of publication. I also put a note here that not country, yeah, because I have seen a lot of paper used as US, the UK. Actually, no, right? You should put the city of the publication, not the country of publication. But sometimes some country is also a city like Singapore, and you just put Singapore because there's no city for Singapore, right? But for other countries, you just put the name of the city. What if there are, you know, maybe 10 cities? What should you do? Actually, you know, you don't have to list all of them, right? You don't have to list all of the 10 cities. Maybe you just put the first one or the few, or maybe if it's just 2 cities, then you put them all. But you don't have to put the very, you know, long list of cities. Does that make sense? Or you just put maybe the first city in the list. Okay, so again, I just mentioned, I would like to stress that only put the city of publication, do not put the country. Okay, and the last one is the purple one. Actually, is the publisher, right? Is the publisher of the book. Okay, now let's see. If you this is the first page of the book. All right. So how can you find those kinds of information in the publication? Okay, so you can see up here is the title, right? And over here is the name of the author. And part, I put it in red here, is actually is the last name of the author. Okay, so the name of the author, but you don't put the whole name, but just initials. Remember? So just put the initials. And so if you would like to find the year of publication, you can find it here, right? So most of the time it's after the copyright signal like this, okay? So in this book, actually, you can find that if this is the year of publication. And up here, actually, the orange one is the title, right? The title of the book. And you can find down here, you can see that there are 2 cities for this book, Philadelphia, Amsterdam, and Philadelphia, but you don't have to list them all, right? You may want just list the first one, okay? And John Benjamin's actually is the publisher. You can put John Benjamin's as the name of the publisher. Okay, good. So that you can find, you can provide all of the information, necessary information of the book. Now let's move on to another type. It's a chapter in an edited book. Okay, so it's just a chapter. It is not the whole book, but you would like to cite, you know, from one chapter in a book. Okay. So I also put color-coded the reference so that will be easier for you. So you can see that different types of, you know, of the source, you need to provide appropriate or required information of the reference. Okay. Up here, you also put the author's last name. All right, it's similar to the book. Okay, and the author initials. Okay, KB over here is the author initials, and year publication, the pink number, and you can find the chapter title, right? So the light blue of phrases over here and words here actually are the chapter title. So again, as compared to the book title, you need to put it in the italics, but the chapter title you don't put it in italics. Okay. But you only capitalize the first letters only again, just we need to follow the rules. Okay. And the other ones, the other clue or dot of clues, actually initials of the editors, because this is the book that is edited by editors, right? So EDX over here indicates they are editors. So because there are 2 editors, you have EDS, but only 1 editor, you just put ED. Does that make sense? So you also put in the dot. You can please be correct until with the dot. Dot means that indicates the initial, right? So the names, initials of the editors, leader are the editor's last names, right? The editor's last names. Okay, and you can, if there are actually more than 1 editor, you put the sign indicate and. Only put it in the last one, and before that is the comma. Now it should be exact the same. This is the format, and you should follow. You should follow exactly with the commas, with the dot, with the full stop, or whether with the the initials, or even very accurate or precise. Okay. Now then the orange one is the book title. Okay, the book title, and in italics. Yeah, I think this is nothing new. And now over here, look at this. So PP, that indicates pages, right? So because the chapter is in the book, because the one book may contain a lot of chapters, right? So you need to indicate the page that the chapter occurs in the book. Okay, so over here PP means pages. All right, so 47 page numbers of the chapters. So it indicates that the chapter starts at page 47 and it ends on page 60. Okay. All right, and again, Dublin city of publication, and again, this is not a country, but it is a city. Okay, city, not a country. And the last one, authentic, basically is the publisher. All right, good. So you can see that these are kind of information that you need to include if you would like to cite from a chapter of an edited book. Okay, so how can you know? How can you find the information here? So this is an example. You can find this is the title of the book, right? The big one, edited by, so that these are that indicate editors. Okay, in this situation, there will be three editors: authentic, publisher, the year publication, publisher here, authentic, and Dublin. Dublin actually is the city, right? The city. Okay, you can find those information in the book. As if you look at the contents up here, you can see that the book has a lot of chapters, right? And each chapters put a number here. So this is the, this is the starting page of the chapter, and you also look at, the ending page of the chapter as well. You need to refer to the book. All right. Any questions? So far, so good. Okay. Now let me move on to the last one of the reference. Okay, of the reference. Journal article, story journal article. I also put the colors here so you can guess. Now, anyone knows what kind of colors? Now, I will give you some time to think of, what are what indicates. I give you some times, to identify what is what. Okay. Now I give you 30 seconds. You actually to see whether which one is, um, what kind of information you need. Maybe 30 seconds. Anyone would like to try? Yeah, I don't want to push people, but what do you think? What kind of information here? So anyone would like to try if what kind of information is provided or interpreted, right? What kind of information is that? Let me see whether any hand raised or raised hand or whatever. So I could ask maybe any of you. Let's see. Hồng Anh is here. So Thục Anh, yeah, you choose any information that you that you think, what kind of information of the paper or of the journal article. Thục Anh is here. Can you please speak up?
Yes.
Yes, please. So yeah. So if you see this reference, and what kind of information of the publication that you can interpret?
I see the author name and
Yes. What are they?
author initial.
Initials?
And
So what are the names? What kind of names? Middle names, first names?
First name.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you so if you look at the reference and how would you understand what the information, how to look
Pub-
back?
Published year 2016.
Mm-hmm. Any other? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Now, probably another person, please help. Let's see. What are the information that you can full time, right? Isn't it? Phương Thảo, sorry. Phương Thảo. Phạm Thị Phương Thảo.
I think the red one is the author last name, and the blue
Okay.
ones is the author initial name. The pink ones is years of publication, and the blue ones is chap. The blue one is article title,
Mm-hmm.
and the
Okay.
orange one is journal title.
Journal, yes.
37 is the volume.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5 is issue, and the last one, purple ones, is the page.
The page. Uh, the page of what?
The page of that you want to reference in your thesis.
Okay. So again, a page is whether the informations that you cite, that
Yes.
you refer to in the thesis, isn't it? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Actually no. But anyway, okay. Now let's see. Thank you very much. You get it right for some. Yes, the right one are the last names. Again, last names. Of the article. Okay. Initial of the initials. And again, you can see that it's different from editor. So the initial comes after. If you look back at editors here, you can see that actually the initials go before the last name, right? So please, yeah, it is just minor points, but please keep that in mind, okay? For the author, the last name first, but initial after. But for the editor, the initials comes first, and then the last name. Okay, so actually, after you created like 10 references, you will be fine, right? You will remember the structure, the syntax. Now let's continue up here. So you can see that the initials of the author goes after the last names. Year publication, yes, the article title, and again, as compared to books, the title of book is in italics, but the title of the article is not in italics. Okay, now let's see journal names. So the journal actually is the journal that uh, the article appearing, right? Capital H words and in italics. So I put in notes here, very details. And the volume numbers, yes, and issue numbers. So journal in Vietnamese, we call it, anyone knows journal? So what does that mean in Vietnamese? Anyone knows? Journal. In Vietnamese, what would you say? Call it? Yeah, you can speak up, or it would be easier, or you can key in your chat windows. No one knows. Journal. Anyone else in Vietnamese? Yes, that's right. Yeah, you just speak up, right? So the thing is, yes. So journal means tạp chí, right? And journal may have different volumes, right? Different volumes. So one year they may have 3 or 4 volumes in issues, right? And in each volume they have different issues. Tập, right? Tập or số. So you put it in the correct order and with the intellect or not in intellects. Okay. Now about the pages here. So it's the pages that of the article. Now again, please do not put the page number of the information that you take from the article, but the pages of the first page and the last page. The numbers, the first page, the last page of the article, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So you can find it here, right? So the name of the author, the title. Up here is this. It puts capitalize each word, but actually you just put the first word, right? So only the first word you put in capitalized letter. And so Apply Linguistics actually is the name of the journal, your publication, volume number, and issue number. And the last one is the page number, right? Again, it's just the page number that the article appear in a journal. All right, I think that's it. Okay, so I will put it on, you know, I will put it in your, in the blackboard, right? Just give me a second. Oh, wow. Just give me a second. So any other questions? Okay, so I think I have one questions relating to issue number, volume numbers. You would know it, right? You just look at, you refer to one journal, right? You refer to one journal, any journal of your field. And in the journal, they have, first they have volumes, okay? For example, in 2020 or 2021, they published 3 volumes, okay? And in volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, and in volume 1, they have 3 issues. Most of the time, they publish for quarterly journal. They may have 4 volumes. Okay, it depends on on each journal. So they may have 3 journals on every 4 months. They publish paper every 4 months, or they publish paper every 3 months. It depends on the journal, right? So they have volumes, okay, different volumes, and each volumes they may have different issues. Okay, for example, in volume 1 they may have issue 1, 3 issues, issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, for example, or in different volumes they may have different issues. Okay, so that's why it depends on how frequently that a journal published the paper, or they publish in a year. So that's why you need to refer to specific volume. So how would you know? So you just look at again, so you can see that for each article, they also provide the volume number and the issue number as well, so that it would be easier for people to get back and to find the paper, okay? Okay, so that is about APA style, right? So we have discussed, I've introduced the structure of the research paper to you and the APA style, and another one is okay. Any other questions before I move on? And so we will talk about collecting resources, okay? Okay, so I think we also, because you also mentioned the web link, okay, the web link, whether you why don't I include it here? Because the thing is, as for web link, I strongly recommend that you should include it. Why so? Because the thing is, for the web link for any website, you know, the thing is, as sometimes people refer to web link, for example, like whether the software can be found on or at certain web link, all right, or what certain websites that they can you provide a web link. So in that situation, it's okay, right? For example, I use SPSS software program to analyze data over the web link, and you need to provide the website, isn't it? But the thing is, if you cite information from that, you shouldn't, right? For example, like, why so? Because, you know, the thing is, the website actually they may disappear, yeah, or you cannot, is no longer accessible for people. And another you know, another point is that it may be you know, this is not really reliable, okay? So in that situation, so that's why it is not, you can see that it is really uncommon, you know, in citing, you know, from the website, okay? So that's why I don't put in here. Okay, any other questions? Now, okay, let's see, let's now let me move on to you know, how can you look for the reading? Yeah, it is very very early stage, okay? So the writing process is one part of the writing process that you need to look for materials, okay? So at first you need to read extensively, you need to read a lot, so that you would say, okay, what am I going to you know, to write about? What is the topic? What is the focus of your paper, right? So you need to read extensively, and how to assess those papers. So I give you maybe 1 minute. Yeah, I know that this is very hard for you to discuss it over here, but I give you 1 minute to key in the chat box, you know, the where can you find the reading materials for your paper, okay? So 1 minute, please. Key in, I repeat my questions, right? Or key in There is another question. Yes, over here. So, what are some searching engines? Searching engines, that means, so where can you find, the reading materials, the reading texts? Okay. Yeah, please key in your answers in the chat box, and we'll give you 1 minute to do that. Okay, I repeat my question. Now, please key in, where can you look for the papers, or where can you find the paper from your for your study, right? In order to look for readings for your paper. Okay, now let's see. I think I have received several answers in here, and people introduce some sort of things. Google Scholar, all right, interesting, and Google Search. Locke, can you please explain? So, what is the difference between Google Scholar and Google? Can you make it clear to us?
Actually, Google Scholar only provide us the result, only the research paper, and but Google Search they try to give us as much thing relevant. Yeah, it's not specific.
Okay, right. Yes, that's true. So Google Scholar focus on publications, right? Publications, and Google is everything. So not only publications. What do you suggest? Which one should we use? How have you ever used that? Can you please you only mentioned Google Scholar. So which one, for Google or Google Scholar, or both?
I usually use both for searching paper research.
Okay.
Google and Google Scholar.
So you use both.
Yes.
All right. Any other opinions? Or you use both, Vin? Yeah, Vin.
Most of the time I use Google Search because sometimes I can find free PDF file for the research papers. Yeah.
Okay, so you think Google search you can find free ones, all right?
Yeah.
And scholars cannot provide
Sometimes I
us.
search the papers on Google Scholar and it's require access.
Okay, that's true. All right. Yes, that's true. Probably that we can have some strategy that you can find the title, right? Isn't it? You can find the title from Google Scholar, and if it is inaccessible, then you can look for it in the Google search, right? So you can find whether it is, is there any free version for you. Okay, thank you. So how and Yeah, so you have ebooks for other students. So how can you ask them? How can you assess? How you get connected with other people, other students?
I mean, to
Okay.
maybe some kiểu như anh chị khóa trên xong rồi hỏi, then I will ask them if they have any reference so that I can work with my thesis.
So I'm just wondering whether you have a group of people or you just like the people that you know.
Yeah, just people that I know.
Okay, so you don't have a kind of community in the department or that you can ask other people? No?
No.
So you just like the personal friendship, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Yeah, it's also is a good strategies, right? You can get to know other students or senior students in or in your requirements so that you can access other books. Yeah, good one. And you also mentioned the Google Scholar, right? Because you mentioned Google Scholar a lot. So let me go over and show you how to actually use Google Scholar. Yes, this is very common, right? So probably I would stop sharing this one. And yeah, I think you have used it before, but I would like to draw your attention to some of the functions that you may need. Okay, now let's see. Just give me a second. So I will pull up the Google Scholar. Yeah, you may want to try it by yourself as well, but you can follow me from the screen. Okay, so Google Scholar. Now, so this is the Google Scholar that you may find, right? You can key in here, like, so I have a move analysis and introduction. So for example, I have this kind of title, the keywords, right? You need to key in the keywords so that you can look for the title. Now, if you make it bigger, you can see it here over on the right-hand side, okay? Over on the right-hand side, about the time. Okay, now the thing is, now I would like to draw your attention to this. You need to think it about the time, like since 2021 or 2021, right? These are the papers that published in certain years. So you can look for that, or you can key in the custom range. For example, like I would like to look for 2019 to 2021, for example, and then I put on search, and it will provide a range of the related publications, right? Is that over his books, most of them are books that are published in the years. Now, why it matters? Why? The time of publication is really important. Okay, because the thing is, if you write something about the topics that is not really people write about recently, that may mean people don't care, right? Please look for the topic that people are interested in, or people is this kind of updated. Does that make sense to you? So the thing is, I strongly I will show you the whole number one later. But one of the criteria of selecting references that is updated one, the new references. So if you use something is published like long time ago, then if it's really classic one, is very fundamental one. Other than that, yeah, it is outdated. Does that make sense? So that's why I think you need to use this one. So most of the time, people prefer, to cite from just within 7 years. Okay. I have also put the requirement that the publications should be in within 7 years. Does that make sense? So if it's like outdated topics, then people don't care anymore. Okay. So that is so if you click on this, actually you can see the link, right? The link, the topic, the year publication, and even you can access the book or the copies. But actually, it is you have sometimes need to pay for that. Now another, actually, I think is also interesting is that you can see the title and topic, the writers here and the publishers here. You can find, because they are very a kind of recent one, you can look for the cited by, cited by. So you can refer to why is it so. It can be interesting to you. It can be useful number. So the thing is, if the books or if a publication cited by a lot of people, it may have some very important information in there, so that it can be useful for your writing, for your proposal. Does that make sense? So the number of people who cite the paper is also is worth considering as well. Okay, good. Any questions? All right. Now let me get back. So yes, if you so I think most of the people refer to Google Scholar in order to look for certain publications, right? Now let me share with you. So how about other? What if the thing is sometimes it is inaccessible. You have to pay. You have to pay for the material. So how about any other? Okay, so I will share with you some of them here. A second. Okay, so these are some other searching engines that may be useful for you. Right, now let's see Google Scholar. Yeah, this is the top choice. Okay, and the other one is ResearchGate. ResearchGate, actually you can find ResearchGate a lot of paper in ResearchGate because people would like to publish their paper there. So even you can find full paper or full chapters on ResearchGate. Okay, Word Class actually is is very powerful one. It's kind of link the libraries over the world. Word Class is very powerful one as well. You can refer to the academic Microsoft, okay, and as well it is very it also provide a lot of free papers for you. ERIC is a kind of good database or Science Direct, but most of the time you may find some full papers there, but not all the time. And the last one is also very interesting is IU Library. Have you ever accessed that? Okay, so you may want to ask, to access IU Library databases as well. Okay, so these are very very common. Yes, to everything, the messages just coming up. Yeah, I know it is because this is during the time that I'm be in the office. So, but anyway, now yeah, it's really distracting me. Okay, so these are the link that that can be useful for you. All right. Now let's see. How about Wikipedia? Can we cite from Wikipedia? Anyone have any ideas? Yeah, I don't want to ask specific people, but you can, yes, you can. Please feel free to unmute and raise your hands so that I can invite you. So, can we cite from Wikipedia? So you can put in the chat box, yes or no. Block say no. Any other ideas? So, and also it seems like no. It's a no, right? Min also mentioned this is not accurate, so it's a no, isn't it? So 3 students say no. Yes. It's not, might not be accurate, but yes. But would you like to explain anything? What about that? Is a no. Okay. So Man, can you please clarify? Hello, Common.
Because Wikipedia, the information on Wikipedia usually anyone can can replace the information, or they can erase and replace with some false information. So you wouldn't know which information is accurate. So it's not really a good thing to use Wikipedia in your thesis. That's what I know about Wikipedia.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a big no. So we should not cite from Wikipedia, as I think this is very common. So that's why I put in here in our discussion in a way that we should not use or cite Wikipedia. So yes, as Man has said, yeah, it's true in a way that people can make changes. Even you yourself, you can make changes in the Wikipedia article, right? Actually, you know, for Wikipedia, they have a kind of group of reviewers. It is the company, right? They try their best to review the articles of people or verify the articles, but it doesn't mean that it is officially published, right? So the thing is, for graduation thesis, is a big no. So please do not cite from Wikipedia, okay? Do not provide or quote from Wikipedia, okay? Yes, that's true. So is that, but the thing is whether Wikipedia is useful. So if we cannot cite from Wikipedia, and I'm just wondering whether is this useful or not. Yeah, if you can key in the chat windows. And another point is that if it's useful, how can we make use of that? Okay, how can we make use of Wikipedia? So the thing is, we cannot cite from that, but how can we make use of Wikipedia? So maybe I will wait for 30 seconds for you to key in the chat windows what you think. Okay. So whether it is useful and how can we make use of that. Okay, just feel free to key in the chat windows. So whether I'm just in how did you make use of Wikipedia? Or yeah, I know although we cannot cite from Wikipedia, but whether it is we can use that you know, the information in Wikipedia, and how can we, or to what extent that we can make use of the Wikipedia. Okay. Yeah, I would just we are running out of time, so please you know, provide maybe just keywords, or you just speak up yeah, in order so that in what scenario that we can use Wikipedia. All right. Okay, so while we're waiting for people to contribute, I think now and as an idea, very interesting idea. So I can you please clarify? And
Sometimes when we look for definition of some words, the Wikipedia will be the first one to pop up in the Google. So we can search it, we can look it up, and if we are not sure about the information of the Wikipedia, we can look for more information later.
okay, right. Like they provide the definition, and then you look for more. But based on how do you can you look for more?
Sometimes in the Wikipedia they will link some more information in the web, and we can go to that link to read more.
Okay, right. Thank you. Yes, that's true. Right. Actually, you know, we can cite from that, but they provide some definition and some keywords, right? Yeah, I think the thing is some keywords. What words? Actually, so you say, and also mention the link. Yes, that's true, but not all the time, right? It's wonderful if you can find a link. Other than that, you cannot find a link. But some keywords, and that is the starting point for you to look for other articles. Does that make sense? So it says they provide a kind of the overview or whatever that you can start with it, so that you can look further on the paper. Any other ideas? Yes, that's true. So the thing is the keywords, right? The terminology, the keywords, related keywords that give you some ideas so that you can look further. Any other suggestions? So in the meantime, I will show you. I will pull out, you know, the Wikipedia site so that you will see in details. Okay. Wikipedia. So any other ideas that you make use of Wikipedia? Or have you, yes, that is the one idea is to make use of Wikipedia as the keyword. Okay, so I will look for like, let's say IEM is logistics. Okay, logistics. Let's have a quick look. Or logistic management. Okay, I'm sharing with you now. So, okay, so if you, this is the page of Wikipedia, right? You cannot cite from this. Again, I would like to stress that you cannot cite from Wikipedia. But the thing is that some definitions in here, right? If I just key in the word logistics, okay, very starting point. So based on this, you can see definition of the word of the field, and so that you can have your other, you know, keywords such as in this scenario that is logistics management. So we have another keyword, right? And so that you can look further. Okay, so I think the link that Anne refers to basically probably here. Okay, there's the link to other terminology. So you can look for supply chain management, right? So you have other keywords. So and the other links that leads you to another article in Wikipedia. Okay, and also the contents you can see up here. Like the range of terminologies and the categories, right? The categories of the terminology, you can find a lot of terminologies in here so that you can see how, you know, if they provide the systematic way to provide the definition of the terms, okay? Like logistic automation, okay? Now let's see, now, I would like to draw your attention to here, references. So that's why we talk a lot about references today. And so you can, you can scroll down, close your eyes, and we scroll down a bit. So you can scroll down here. So see also other keywords, or related keywords that that might be interesting to you. Now look at the references here, right? This is where we can start. Okay, we cannot cite from Wikipedia, but actually there are some papers. There are some papers that this article cites, and then this is a starting point for you to trace back the originals. Does that make sense? So you cannot cite from the Wikipedia, but you can cite from the originals. Does that make sense? So for example, this one is very useful for you. And then you look for it. You look for the original. And then you cite from it. Does that make sense? So that's why it is very useful in the way that it provides you or directs you to look for the other papers or the originals. Okay, yeah, you can see it's a little bit dated in here. It's not enough, but it's actually provide you. It can provide you, you know, other materials from other sources as well. Okay, good. All right. Any other questions? So all in all, so I will. The thing is, for Wikipedia, again, I would like to stress that you cannot directly cite from Wikipedia, but you can trace back. Right? You can look back the originals from Wikipedia, and so that you can cite from the originals. Okay. Now, so and other websites, any other website, actually you can find, you know, a lot of students actually came to me and said, oh, Miss, I cannot find the original, I have to pay, and I'm so poor. And so I don't think I can finish or I can complete your paper or your final paper because I cannot access the papers, the originals. I have to pay, and I don't have money to buy all of them. Okay, I think, yeah, yes, actually, I understand. But the thing is, there are some websites. Yeah, I don't want to put it in the slides. There are some websites you can access that allows you to access the original or full papers. Anyone would know? Have you ever? Anyone would know any other websites that you can access? Or have you ever tried? Now, because due to we have limited time, so let's see. There are some websites that, yeah, please note down. Okay. I think this is kind of illegal, right? Illegal. Okay, there's a kind of debate between whether there is copyright infringement, whether it is like a copyright violation or not. But the thing is, some scientists actually support the ideas that you know, some website actually make it more accessible for readers to, so that they can access the papers. Okay. So have you ever heard Sci-Hub? Anyone knows? Yeah, I cannot type it out, but I can introduce that to you. You can look for it. It is not really 100% works. Sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off, because, you know, maybe sometimes this may not be accessible. But Sci-Hub, Sci for science, Hub for the place that people get into. Okay, you can look for that. The Sci-Hub and some other ebooks, such as PDF drive. Drive means the drives or PDF drives. You can look for that, and sometimes you may find the full copies or the full books. Okay, all right. That's all that I can help. Because, you know, it's sometimes when you assess that, you need to be aware of the copyright issues. Okay, but probably it can be an excuse when you say, okay, I'm so poor, what else I can do, and I want to finish my study. Yeah, probably if you can, right? Okay, I think that's all for today, right? So I can stop. No, I cannot type it out because it's not really kind of illegal, right? I said it one more time. It's a Sci-Hub, Science for Science. The three letters of science, like science. Hub, HUB, right? HUB, Sci-Hub. You can look for that. And the another one is PDF drive. Drive such as drive C or drive D, right? You can look for that, and good luck. Yeah, whether you can assess what the paper that you would like to find in that. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's all for today. The thing is, let me see what else that I can. So please, again, please look for readings. You need to read extensively. You need to read a lot so that you can come up with the topic of your papers. Now, for the rest of the time, I think we still have a few minutes left. Any questions? So you can even ask in Vietnamese if you would like to. Yeah, so I think I will post homework number 1. I should have, and I will. So in the meantime, if you have any other questions, so I will post question homework number 1, right? Collecting resources. So this is the homework that refers to today, right? So that's why I ask you to do this first, finding the resources or materials. So indicates the tentative topic. That means you can change later, and collect at least 5, right? It can be book chapters, whatever. And the publication you should be 2010 up to now. So please do not find the publication before 2010, but rather than that after 2010. Okay, I provide necessary information and clarify why the sources may be useful for you. Okay, how to submit it? Post on the website and the originals papers, right? Please post the original papers so that to make sure that I just would like to make sure that this is accessible to you. If you collect the things that you just see the references, please do not include this. Okay, but you don't have to bring them all. You just bring the assignment. So in a class, when we have a class, right? Just the hard copy of the list. So this is the template. I also put the template for you and some of the notes, so that you wouldn't know what information you should keep. Okay, and I also put some examples in here. Those are the examples that we covered. Okay, and so you can delete this one. So just look for again, at least 5 sources of your paper. So please start reading, right? It's this very very important stage, at very early stage. Okay, right? Any other questions? So we have 1 minute left. Also, any other general questions? Rồi phần còn lại các bạn có hỏi gì thêm, đúng không? Chắc mình còn vài phút, 1-2 phút nữa thôi. Các bạn có hỏi gì thêm về cái nội dung thì hôm nay là tương đối rồi, đúng không? Là những cái thông tin, những cái nguồn để cho các bạn tìm tài liệu. Cái phần tìm tài liệu nó khá là quan trọng nha. Tại vì sao? Tại vì nó sẽ tại vì nếu các bạn viết, đây là một cái bài lớn, các bạn không thể nào tự viết. Mình nghĩ cái gì như là IELTS or TOEFL writing, đúng không? Mình không phải từ cái general ideas hoặc là personal opinions. Mình không thể nào, mình phải có căn cứ, mình phải có cơ sở, mình phải có trích dẫn. Cho nên là cái phần tìm tài liệu mà đọc khá là quan trọng ở cái giai đoạn đầu, để các bạn xây dựng cái kiến thức về cái nội dung, cái topic của các bạn như thế nào. Cho nên cái đó cũng khá là quan trọng ha. Cho nên cô đưa cái phần này lên trước để cho các bạn bắt đầu các bạn tìm tài liệu, và trong quá trình tìm mình sẽ chọn lọc lại, được chưa? Các bạn sẽ chọn lọc lại những cái cuốn nào các bạn giữ. Đó, cái cách làm như vậy, reasons for selections, các bạn giữ để cái cuốn này, ví dụ cuốn sách này nó sẽ hữu ích cho các bạn ở khi các bạn viết cái chỗ nào. Ví dụ giả sử như là for background information, can be useful for definition of the field. Đó, ví dụ như vậy. Hay là các bạn biết cách tổ chức và lưu lại những cái bài đọc của mình. Okay, good. Yeah, I think we are running out of time. So if you have any other questions, right, you can ask next week. We still have time. Okay, we still have time. But please start reading. Okay. Vậy thì tuần sau các bạn sẽ quay trở lại cái schedule bình thường đó ha. Tại vì tuần này thì nó hơi trục trặc chút xíu vì cô bận họp thôi. Nhưng mà tuần sau thì các bạn quay trở lại cái lịch như bình thường, không? Các bạn sẽ quay trở lại cái teams của lớp nào lớp đó ha. Còn đây là cái teams này của lớp chung để mình học bù thôi. Còn cái của lớp nào lớp đó thì các bạn sẽ quay trở lại với cái teams của lớp mình. Okay, right? So goodbye. I see you next week online. Yeah. As long as we We have other announcement. Nếu mà có thông báo mình quay trở lại trường thì tốt ha. Không thì chắc các bạn sẽ tiếp tục học online trong tuần sau. Tới có gì các bạn sẽ theo dõi thông báo ở trên Blackboard. Right. Goodbye. See you.